It's been a long journey for us from 2014, where we were 100% on HFO diesel. We're a senior international gold producer. We've got operating mines in Canada, in Africa. We've got 2 mines in Mali and in Namibia, the Otjikoto Mine, where we are today. So we do our own exploration, we build our own mines, and then we also operate our own mines. All of those mines consolidated, we produce around 1 million ounces gold a year. The Otjikoto Mine employs roughly around 600 employees at this point in time. Corporately, we've committed to a 30% reduction in GHG emissions by 2030. So that is how this whole plant fits in with our corporate plan. 2018, we commissioned our first solar plant. And then in 2022, we linked it with the Nampower grid. And subsequent to that, we said, well, what more can we do? That is where the MSB came in and SPS through this wheeling plant.
It's the first true wheeling plant under Namibia's modified single buyer program, the MSB program, because it feeds power into one substation of the Nampower grid, and the power is then consumed somewhere else on the grid.
We like the way SPS operates. They like dealing with partnerships, and they were able to give us a 8-year PPA arrangement, taking into account our life of mine of 8 years. Your traditional PPA arrangements tend to span between 20 and 25 years. We are able to plan better into the future with the arrangements that we have with SPS in terms of the contract on energy escalations. But more importantly, it's the environmental angle. We are able to reduce our GHG emission profile, and we really see SPS playing a pivotal role in future partnerships where we can expand on the 30% that's allowable under the MSB framework currently.
I always view putting these projects together as a puzzle, but it's a puzzle with a lot of moving pieces. The first one, and probably the most important, was the off-taker, the client. Another big piece of the Tetris puzzle was meeting the Olofse family. Alex and his mom Annette, they some of Namibia's largest conservationists, and they had a piece of land on which Nampower, through B2Gold's funding, developed a brand new substation called Eldorado. And their land located around it was just perfect for developing a large solar plant. Third very important piece was the regulatory environment. Namibia, and there one has to pay tribute to the regulator, the ECB and Nampower. They're starting to open up the Namibian grid to allow more private generators to feed energy in. And over time, the hope is that it will drive prices down and it will increase the percentage of renewable energy coming onto the Namibian grid. We were introduced to the project by long-term colleagues and friends of ours, William and Sven of Fortitude.
We were approached by the Olofse family, who recently completed the Eldorado substation at the Maxwell Farm for the increase of power supply to B2Gold. It was at that point that they determined that that was an ideal opportunity. So we picked up the phone and we phoned Francois and his team and said, given our successful working history together and the relationship we formed, we were able to introduce the two parties and then subsequently play a role in sort of value engineering and project management.
The Eldorado substation was built on our property, which then obviously brought up the opportunity to expand into the power sector. It was just a perfect match from the beginning. We felt comfortable, we felt like everybody was on the same page. I'd say the rest is history.
Well, the Maxwell Solar PV plant has been a labor of love over many years. I think we've been working on it for about 5 years. This 10.6 megawatt plant feeds into the Nampower substation, which is between 12 and 14 kilometers away from B2Gold mine itself. We feed through to our substation, which is 25 megawatt substation with a 25 megawatt transformer, which feeds through to Eldorado substation, which is connected directly onto the Nampower line. During the day, a large portion of their power comes from either our solar plant, which we've built at Maxwell, or the embedded 7 megawatt plant, which B2Gold has on site. And between the two of them, they're pushing about 40-45% renewable fraction overall. I think in a year, our plant produces 2.6 gigawatt hours of power, which is 71,000 units of energy per day. And if you think about a typical household, a house uses anything between 5 and 20 units of energy a day. So you can imagine, just from a scale perspective, 71,000, it's enough to power 7,100 homes plus.
Maxwell is our largest plant. We're extremely proud to have it operational now, and the fact that we are the pioneers in Namibia in terms of wheeling power through their MSB is a big privilege for us. Our mission is to be the most trusted private utility, reimagining energy provision for our clients.